Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Minecraft Showcase series. In today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at Quark, a mod by Vazkii. Now basically, Quark is a mod that is made up of a whole bunch of little minor tweaks and changes and additions to Minecraft, and the whole idea of the mod is to basically add a whole bunch of stuff without changing the fundamental feel and nature of Minecraft. So all of these little things are added, but all of them feel like they could be in the base game without being added by a mod. Also, it's a very configurable mod, so just about everything in here can be enabled, disabled, or tweaked in the config files. And that is basically Quark in a nutshell. Now, I am recording this mod spotlight in the 1.10.2 version of Quark. The 1.11.2 version of Quark came out a couple of hours ago, but I tried it and it's a little bit buggy yet, so I'm recording this in the 1.10 version. But Vazkii is very good about keeping his mods up to date and consistently and regularly updating them, so everything you see here is kind of subject to change and could be tweaked or added onto or whatever it may be. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the mod spotlight. This mod spotlight is going to be broken into several parts. I'll put links in the description if you want to just kind of skip ahead to the time where we start each thing. So we're going to cover automation, new blocks, inventory management, other tweaks, world gen and mobs, and then some new items that are added. And as I said, I'll put links in the description. So let's go ahead and get into automation. First and foremost, dispensers plant stuff. So if you put seeds or nether wart or cocoa beans or anything like that inside of a dispenser and give it a redstone signal, it will plant, assuming it can plant on the appropriate block there. Next, we have obsidian pressure plates. They're just like regular pressure plates, but they will only trigger when a player steps on them. And end rods, if you attach them to a piston and push them, they will actually break blocks, just like that, which is pretty cool. We also have the weather sensor that's added, and this will essentially emit a redstone signal when it is raining. So, that's not the right command. Toggle down fall. There we go. You can see it emits a redstone signal. You can also shift right-click it to emit a signal when it's not raining, so you can change it in that way. So let's turn off the rain. There we go. Now, next tweak. We add the Ender Watcher. This is a pretty cool block. It emits a redstone signal when you look at it, and then to coincide with that, mobs will eat if there's the appropriate food source on the ground. So if we use the Ender Watcher to drop some wheat, these guys will eat it and breed a baby cow. So just an easy way to automate mob farms, essentially. So good stuff. Now, let's get into blocks. That's basically the extent of the automation tweaks. So new blocks, there's a whole bunch of different stuff added. I'm not going to cover the recipes because A, you can find them very easily using a mod like Just Enough Items, for example. You can find all of them on Quark's website, which will also be linked in the description, and most of them are pretty intuitive to begin with. So bark, blocks, and walls get added, and these are basically just blocks where the full block is the bark texture. We also get hardened clay tiles. These come in slabs and stairs as well, and they're made using hardened clay, basically just kind of a nice roof texture. They could be good for that. They look kind of like shingles, so I think that's good. And then there's a whole bunch of other new blocks. You've got Midori blocks, you've got sugarcane blocks, thatch, snow bricks, iron plates, charred nether bricks, soul sandstone, sandy bricks, and then marble, limestone, basalt, and biotite. All of those are added. Some of these will generate naturally in the world, specifically marble, limestone, and basalt, and then biotite will generate in the end, and it's basically like black quartz. So you harvest it, and it will give you biotite, what is it, a biotite crystal or something like that? Let's see, Yeah, here you go, Ender Biotite, and then you can craft that using quartz into pillars and chiseled versions and blocks and all sorts of cool stuff like that. 1.8 stones, so diorite, granite, and andesite have gotten a pretty significant overhaul from Quark. First of all, the textures of the base block have been changed a little bit, so they're a little bit less overwhelming. Specifically, diorite looks less bird poopy, and granite looks a bit better as well. Still not the most beautiful blocks in the world, if you ask me, but a significant improvement from the vanilla texture. Then they've all gotten brick variants, which you craft using the polished versions, and those brick variants have also gotten slabs and stairs as well, and a wall version. So quite awesome there. Nice overhaul for 1.8 stones. Next, we have carved wood blocks, and these come for all the types of wood, not just the 3 I have here. And they'd make maybe nice, like a nice cornerstone texture, or maybe a nice floor texture, or, you know, however you want to do it. So kind of a cool thing. There have been some additional sandstone textures added, polished, and bricks. And those are added for all 3 versions of sandstone, the red sandstone, the regular sandstone, and then the soul sandstone, which is a block added basically by using soul sand to make sandstone. Also, all the walls, basically everything that should have a wall has a wall, as you can see here in JEI. All the stuff you would expect to have a wall now has it, which is pretty awesome. Nether brick fence gates have been added. Don't know why those aren't in the vanilla game. Also, all the stairs, just like all the walls, pretty much everything you would expect to have a stair, and for that matter, a slab variant, now has it. There are also these nice leaf carpets, which are great for landscaping. If you want to do landscaping and you want to add some extra detail to your paths and roads and yards and all that kind of stuff, these leaf carpets are fantastic for that. The only thing that I wish would be added would be a coarse dirt slab and stair. That's the only thing that is not in the mod right now as far as additional blocks that I wish we would add, and I'm sure Vazkii is watching this because he asked me to do it. So, Vazkii, please add coarse dirt, slab, and stair, just for landscaping purposes, because you can add a lot of detail doing that. Let's move on to the next room. We've got a lot more blocks to cover. So, we've got blaze lanterns, and these are essentially sea lanterns, but the fire version of them. They're made using blaze rods and blaze powder. We also have charcoal blocks, which are basically 9 charcoal, just like you would expect, and they function exactly like you would expect. Lit redstone lamps are the next thing. These are awesome. They're basically a redstone lamp that is always on. So if you just want that redstone lamp texture, and you don't want to have to add a lever or a redstone torch or something to keep it powered all the time, you can make a lit redstone lamp and save yourself a little bit of trouble there. We also have added paper walls, and these are essentially window panes. They basically function just like window panes, and they give you this nice kind of paper wall texture. Quark also adds colored beds and item frames for all the colors, which is pretty cool, as well as chests, bookshelves, and trapdoors for all the different wood variants as well. Then, Quark adds these nice iron ladders, and these are pretty cool, because if you want a ladder that goes all the way down, say you're at the top of a ravine or something, they don't actually have to have a block back here. They'll just work. And regular ladders also have gotten, actually both these ladders have gotten a little bit of tweaks. Other than the fact they don't need this block back here, the iron ladders function exactly like normal ones, although ladders themselves have gotten a couple tweaks too. So if you click on the top of a ladder, it will place a ladder below it, which is pretty cool. So you don't have to like dig down and then place a bunch of ladders up and then dig down and so on and so forth. And you go a lot faster down ladders. You can basically slide down them to speed yourself up, which is really nice. Now, there have been some slab and stair crafting changes, and these are pretty fantastic as well. So slabs can all be crafted back into their plank or into their full block variant, which is pretty awesome. Same thing with stairs, although, is it? Oh, I think it's like that. There we go, like that. And you now get a better ratio of slabs. So if we do this, that will give you 8 stairs instead of the 4 that you would normally get. So very useful. Clay is another thing. You can now just craft clay balls directly from clay. You don't have to place it down and break it. So nice little tweak there. Torches, fuel sources. These will smelt 2 items for every torch in a furnace. And minecarts have gotten some changes as well. They now stack. And if you right-click a minecart with an item that can go in a minecart, it will turn into that thing. So that's kind of cool as well. Let's see. Over here, we've got banner variants. And here, we've got basically 4 new banner patterns. And they are crafted with the respective item in the item frame there. We also have chicken changes. So chickens will actually lay feathers. I don't see any in here, but they'll lay feathers just like they do eggs. And you can actually shear a chicken with left click, just like you would a sheep, and get a feather, and it will take a half heart of damage. And you can do that until the chicken dies. So you can get a couple feathers off of each chicken. Horses have gotten some tweaks as well. So let's go into survival mode here real quick. You'll notice that you can see my hunger bar and that you can see my experience bar instead of the jump bar, which is pretty cool. And if we get ourselves some arrows and a bow, I don't shoot my horse, which is great. So that's good. Now, creepers. Creepers have a built-in warning system, kind of, sort of. If they see me, they will turn red before they explode. I thought I turned off mob griefing. Oh, I thought I turned off mob griefing in this world. Guess not. Oh well, we made a mess. It's fine. So that's basically all the tweaks and all the new blocks. Oh, there is actually one more here. Let's go game mode C and grab an endermite egg. So endermites will actually burrow into purple blocks, like kind of like silverfish do. And if they do that, they'll actually turn into a shulker, which is kind of cool. I don't know if they'll do it with spawned ones. You may have to do it with the natural spawn, because I know they do have different MBT data. But that's the thing. Endermites will burrow into purple blocks and make shulkers. Also, if you break glass, game mode S, there we go. If you break glass in survival mode, it'll give you these glass shards, and you can craft those back into glass, which is pretty cool. So that's a bunch of different little tweaks. I think that is pretty much all the tweaks. Just kidding, I did actually miss a couple. So you can make stone tools using flint. I'm not going to demonstrate it, but basically you can use flint in place of cobblestone to make stone tools. Sheep will have a little bit of armor, naturally, as long as they have wool on them. So they'll take a little bit of armor there, which is kind of cool. You get a jump, you basically get step assist. If you have jump boost 2 on your character, you can just walk up 1 block spaces, just like if you were on a horse. There's so many different things. So many different things. Also, another kind of nifty tweak. We'll come back to the inventory management over there, because I was going to do this in a slightly different order, but that's okay. So, if you take a hoe, if you break right here, will actually harvest a 3x3 area of crops, so you can speed up your crop harvesting a little bit. Double doors will open together instead of having to open them individually. Also, if you left-click on a door with an open hand, you'll knock on it. Just like that. Kind of cool. If we take a shovel and we right-click on snow layers, you'll only remove the top layer instead of... it basically gives you an undo button for snow layers, which is kind of cool. If you name a snow golem and you kill it, it will drop a head. It's supposed to drop a head with its player name. At least that's my understanding of it. Putting a mob head on a note block will cause the note block to make the mob sound. So that's pretty cool. Armor stands now can hold things in their hands, or hand. I think it can only hold one item. And shields are not as annoying. They don't take up 2/3 of the screen like they do in vanilla. So that's pretty cool. I like that change quite a lot. Ooh, this sign. I don't know what I was supposed to... I don't think this is what I was supposed to put here. Better edit it. You can right-click on a sign to change what it says. Changed. Just like that. Elytra can now be dyed with all the colors of dye. To change that, you'll also get witch hats that will drop from witches, and you can put that thing on your head to look super awesome. But if you really want to look cool, find yourself a pirate ship out in the world and put on a pirate hat, because that is amazing. And then you'll look super cool. If you right-click a boat with a banner, you'll get it as basically a sail, and it doesn't actually do anything other than look cool, but it'll stay on there until you break the boat. Also, if you right-click on a stair block, you'll actually sit on it. So kind of cool if you're like into roleplay or any of that kind of stuff. And then you can just shift to get off of it. Ender Biotite, we kind of talked about. It's basically black quartz, and you find it in the end. Speaking of things that you can find, you'll find rarely caves underground generating the world, which will have these cave crystals in them. And this is a really cool block. It's transparent, as you can see. You can kind of peek outside. And it actually emits a little bit of light as well. And I think it's a really cool, useful block that gives you kind of nice for building. Everything you see here, as far as this little showcase area, this is all blocks that Quark adds for the most part. So, pretty cool stuff. Now, another thing you'll find out and about are runes and ancient tomes. We'll talk about those in a little bit. We'll talk about these items in a little bit. But let's go and move into inventory management. So, Quark adds a couple useful features for inventory management. Let's just clear what we have, okay? So, if we have some gold and some iron in our inventory, you'll see these buttons now. So the green button will just put everything in your inventory into the chest, okay? The restock button will essentially refill your items in your inventory from whatever's in the chest. Now, restock doesn't do anything if I don't have some of those items. Okay? Oh, that was the deposit. Restock. There we go. Sort will essentially sort your chest for you and just auto-sort it like that. And then merge will basically take this stuff and put it in the chest if there's already that thing in the chest. So, for example, it'll just put the iron in there, but it won't put the gold. So that's kind of a cool thing. Now, there's a few other things you can do as well. So if you hold Alt and right-click... Oh, yeah, there you go. If you hold Alt and click on an item, right-click on an item, you can see it adds this favorited tag, and that means that it will not be automatically deposited or merged into this chest until you take it off of favorites. Finally, if you want to link an item, you can hit Shift plus T, and it'll link it there in chat, so people can see it and basically just see the thing. It is a lot more useful for like swords or armor or stuff. They'll be able to see all the enchantments and things on it. And then last but not least, holding Control and hitting Delete will delete the items forever. So it just gets rid of them. So that's the inventory stuff in a nutshell. Finally, let's move on to some of the items that Quark adds. Now, we already talked a little bit about the pirate hat, which drops, which you find on pirate ships, and the witch hat, which drops from witches. They're really just kind of aesthetic items. They don't really have a major purpose or anything like that. You'll also be able to get these runes and ancient tomes. You'll find these in dungeons and chests. So, if we take an iron sword, and I'm actually going to pop into creative mode here, game mode C, because I'm going to need a lot of experience for this. If you take one of the ancient tomes, which will always be at the highest level of whatever enchant they are, so sharpness 5, and you combine them with a regular enchanted book of the same type, you'll actually be able to get an enchantment book one level above what you would normally be able to obtain in vanilla. So this will give you a sharpness 6 book. It'll cost you 35 levels to do that. Then, if you apply that to a sword or a weapon or armor or whatever the enchantment is for, it's going to cost you another 35 levels. So that's what ancient tomes do. Then, last but not least, these runes, they come in all the different colors. If you combine them with an enchanted item, it'll change the glow on that item to be the color of the rune. So you can have like a glowing red sword or a glowing yellow sword or whatever it may be. Kind of a cool thing. You can also get these slimes in a bucket. Now, a slime in a bucket you get by using a bucket on a small slime, and that'll give you this item. That'll give you this item. And basically what this will do is if you walk around holding it, it'll like jiggle when you are in a slime chunk. So it helps you find slime chunks, essentially. Quark also adds these 3 new special arrows. They are ender arrows, explosive arrows, and torch arrows, and they do basically what you would expect. An ender arrow is essentially a ender pearl that you can fire with a bow, so it's more accurate and goes farther. An explosive arrow explodes, and a torch arrow will essentially place down a torch wherever it hits. So kind of a useful little thing there. There we go. And that is basically all the stuff that we're going to cover here. There are, however, still a number of things in World Gen that I want to show you guys. So I'm going to pop over and we're going to cover World Gen and mobs. So the first thing to cover in World Gen is Realistic World Generation. This is an additional world type that you can set up when you start a new world, and it basically is just going to change the way the terrain generates to make it appear more realistic. You can see these contour lines and the elevation and all these changes and stuff are a little bit cleaner and smoother than what you would have in vanilla. Also, grass is just generally greener in Quark. So the grass is always greener on the Quark side, I guess. My journey map's a little funky because it has been changed around. In swamps, if you go to a swamp, you will find both large brown and large red mushrooms, not just one. So that's pretty awesome. And we're also going to be able to find pirate ships. Let me look and see if I can find one. All right, we finally found one. This is a pirate ship. These will generate out in the world, and you'll find buried treasure on them, to include the pirate hat, which is, this is the only way to get them, is to come in here. Normally there's pirates. I don't know why I don't see any pirate mobs here. Maybe the game is set to... What you want to bet my game is set to peaceful? Yep, it is. It totally is. There we go. But these guys will spawn with pirates on them. The pirates themselves will not despawn, but you can come and loot all of their plunder. Speaking of mobs, you will find guardians. They will spawn in the ocean, whether or not they are near an ocean monument. Likewise, blazes will spawn in the nether, as will this basalt stuff. This is how you get that. You'll also find wraiths in the nether. They'll spawn on soul sand, and when you kill them, they'll drop one of these soul beads right here. If you eat this thing, it'll put a curse on you for 20 minutes, which will make mobs spawn all around you, regardless of light level. Pretty nasty. Now, as far as other world gen goes, you're going to find these crystal caves, which will have a lot of ores and resources in them, and these orange cave crystals that we talked about earlier. So that's pretty fantastic. Also, if you're flying around down here, you'll find and you'll notice that the 1.8 stones, andesite, granite, and diorite, they're not going to spawn as often, but when they do, they will spawn in huge veins like this. You're also going to find clay spawning underground, which is pretty fantastic. If you can find yourself a dungeon, if you're lucky enough to, it should be a special custom-made dungeon by a guy named MC Noodler, with his kind of custom dungeon designs. This one looks like a very vanilla dungeon, so maybe it doesn't work with realistic terrain generation or something, but from what I've read, they should spawn custom dungeons. Now, another thing that you're going to find generating will be marble and limestone as well. You'll find those in the overworld, you'll find basalt generating in the nether, and then you'll find biotite generating in the end, some of which we've already talked about a little bit. One thing you're going to find in chests are treasure maps. If you find them, you'll find them in dungeon chests, and they'll basically take you to a location of hidden treasure, which is pretty cool. But guys, I think that is pretty much it for the Quark mod. We have covered just about everything there is to cover, and it's quite the mod. I really like it. I like this mod quite a lot. I think it's very nice that it does not fundamentally change the feel of Minecraft, but it adds a lot of things to Minecraft that I think personally should already be in the game. I like to think of Quark as the mod that fixes Minecraft, if that makes any sense. But guys, I am out of time for this one. If you want to try the mod out for yourself, I'll put a link in the description to the CurseForge page where you can download it. I'll also put a link to the website that Vazkii has for the mod, and a bunch of other important stuff too. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I do appreciate it, and it really helps out my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.